All right, let's jump right in today. We're tackling blood sugar, and I think it's safe to say all of us out there want to unlock that steady energy, feel good, and really just be at our best.
Absolutely.
So we've gone deep, gathered all the latest research, got expert insights, and we're cutting through all the noise to bring you, our listeners, what really matters.
Yeah, and we're talking about feeling amazing more than just avoiding problems.
Right. So beyond diabetes, why is blood sugar control such a big deal?
Well, think about it this way, stable blood sugar, it's like the bedrock. It's the foundation of a high-performance machine, which is your body. And
Yeah.
when it's out of whack, you're running on fumes.
Makes sense.
That afternoon slump, brain fog,
Oh, yeah.
that's blood sugar talking. And over time, it can increase the risk of some pretty serious things, like heart disease.
So it's not just about, like, avoiding the negatives.
Yeah.
It's about feeling really fantastic each day.
Okay.
Okay, and that makes sense. But what actually impacts our blood sugar?
It's a few things, but the good news is you actually have more control than you think.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what you eat, that's huge. But it's not about completely cutting out sugar.
Oh, tell me we don't have to say goodbye to dessert forever.
No. It's about smart choices.
Yeah.
Think about this. Research has shown that just a little bit, like a half teaspoon of cinnamon a day, can actually improve how sensitive you are to insulin,
Oh, okay.
meaning your body uses glucose. It's more efficient. So sprinkle a little on your oatmeal in the morning.
All right. Cinnamon it is. What about exercise? Does hitting the gym really make that big of a difference?
Oh, it's huge. When you move, your muscles, they get better at using glucose for energy. So naturally, it brings those levels down. And you don't need to become a marathon runner. Studies show even short bursts of like high-intensity interval training really effective.
So even if I can only squeeze in like 15 minutes here and there, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
I like the sound of that. Okay, but, life, it gets stressful. Does stress mess with our blood sugar?
Oh, big time. When you're stressed, your body's pumping out cortisol. And that actually interferes with how your body regulates blood sugar.
Oh, wow. So it's like stress is hijacking our metabolism.
Basically, yeah.
That's kind of scary.
It is. And that's why managing that stress through things like, maybe meditation, deep breathing,
Sure.
can be just as important as what you're eating.
Wow, it's all connected. Okay, so what about sleep? I've heard that if you're not getting enough sleep, that can throw things off balance.
Yeah, absolutely. You heard right. When you don't sleep enough, your body produces less insulin.
Okay.
And that's the key hormone to regulate blood sugar. So getting those 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep, crucial.
Okay, so we've got diet, exercise, stress management, and sleep.
Right.
It's like a recipe for balanced blood sugar.
Yeah,
But is there anything else we can do to support those healthy levels?
definitely. A few targeted things.
Yeah.
One of them, you can explore natural supplements.
Okay.
Like there's one called Glucose 6. It's
Yeah.
packed with ingredients like cinnamon, chromium, green tea, sucra, and crine tea.
So it's like a team of natural ingredients.
Absolutely.
All right, let's break down how those actually work.
Let's start with chromium. That's a mineral. It's essential for how your body processes glucose.
Okay.
So it actually helps improve how insulin functions, which ensures your cells are getting the glucose they need.
So chromium's like the key that unlocks the door for the glucose to enter our cells.
Exactly. And then you've got green tea, full of antioxidants that protects your cells from damage, which is important because, something called oxidative stress, that can really mess with blood sugar balance.
Interesting. So green tea is like a shield for our cells.
Yeah, I like these
Me
analogies.
too. Okay, what about this sucre ingredient? I've heard it's a natural sugar alternative. How does that help?
Sucre is cool. It gives you that sweetness that you might crave, but without the blood sugar roller coaster, that comes with regular sugar.
So we can still enjoy sweet treats, just smarter choices.
Exactly.
And get behind that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this crine tea? What makes it so special?
Crine tea, it has this long history of being used to support healthy blood sugar.
Oh, wow.
And research suggests it can even improve insulin sensitivity and help with, your overall metabolic efficiency.
Oh, wow. It sounds like Glucose 6 really assembled an all-star team of ingredients.
Yeah.
But before we go too deep into that, let's get practical. What are some actions our listener can start taking today to take control of their blood sugar?
One of the most powerful things, start tracking your blood sugar levels.
Oh, okay.
This really helps you understand how your body is responding to different foods and activities. It's like having a personal blood sugar detective.
I like it. Okay, but what's the best way to track these days? those old finger prick tests.
Yeah, those still work, but you know those continuous glucose monitors or
Oh,
CGMs?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are getting super popular.
I've heard of those.
They're small, wearable devices. They give you those real-time updates on your blood sugar throughout the day and night.
So goodbye to constantly pricking my finger. I'm in. But once we have this data, then what do we do with it?
Ah, that data's gold. Helps you make really informed choices.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest ones, balanced eating. So
Okay.
that means combining complex carbohydrates with proteins or healthy fats to slow down digestion and prevent those spikes.
So it's not just what we eat, but how we combine those foods. What about portion size? Does that matter?
Absolutely. Portion
Okay.
control is key, right? It helps you avoid overeating, and overeating can lead to those spikes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about the timing of our meals?
Yeah, consistency is key there.
Okay.
Try to stick to a regular eating schedule. Avoid those long stretches without food because that helps keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day.
Yeah.
And it prevents those energy crashes that can really just derail your whole day.
Okay, that's something I can definitely work
Yeah.
on. Now,
Yeah.
I know we talked about exercise before, but how can we realistically incorporate more movement into our, sometimes crazy busy lives to support blood sugar control?
Remember, you don't need to run a marathon, right?
Hmm.
Even short bursts of activity, like taking the stairs, walking during your lunch break, or even just standing up and stretching every hour.
Love those little hacks.
Huge difference.
It's all about just finding ways to move more throughout the day. And we touched on supplements earlier. How do those fit into this picture?
Supplements like Glucose 6 can be a great tool, especially if you're looking for that extra support. It's like giving your body those additional nutrients to really optimize how you're controlling your blood sugar.
So not a replacement for those healthy habits,
Mhm.
but a way to enhance them.
Exactly.
Okay.
And bonus tip, stay hydrated.
Oh, right.
Dehydration can actually concentrate glucose in your bloodstream, leading to higher blood sugar levels. So make sure you're sipping on water throughout the day.
I'm so guilty of that. Forgetting to drink enough water. It's such a simple thing, but it makes a big difference. So we've got tracking, balanced eating, regular movement, potential supplements, and staying hydrated. Are there any common pitfalls we should be aware of? Things that can kind of sabotage our efforts?
Oh, absolutely. Skipping meals, that's a big one. Oh, yeah.
Causes those blood sugar crashes and spikes. You feel tired, irritable. Another common mistake, overdoing it on those carbs, especially those refined ones we talked about earlier.
So enjoying carbs in moderation as part of a balanced meal, rather than going overboard.
Exactly. And don't forget the impact of stress and lack of sleep. Managing stress levels and prioritizing those 7 to 9 hours, crucial.
Yeah, it all comes back to those like foundational pillars of health. All right, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's circle back to those natural ingredients in Glucose 6.
Okay.
We talked about chromium and green tea, but what about cinnamon? What makes it so beneficial?
Cinnamon has been shown to improve how sensitive your body is to insulin,
Okay.
helping your body use glucose more effectively, which helps you get to those stable blood sugar levels.
So it's not just for adding flavor to our lattes. Now, I know we mentioned suki briefly, but I'm curious to learn more about how a natural sugar alternative can actually impact blood sugar. Yeah, sucre is a game changer for those who want to enjoy sweetness without the negative impacts on those levels. It provides that taste of sugar without the spike.
Okay, so sucre lets us satisfy our sweet tooth without sending our blood sugar on a wild goose chase.
Exactly.
That's definitely a win in my book. Finally, let's talk about crying tea. What makes it so special for blood sugar control?
Crying tea has traditionally been used to support healthy blood sugar levels for centuries.
Wow.
And modern research is backing up its effectiveness. It's been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and support overall metabolic efficiency.
Wow, it really does sound like Glucose 6 has combined some powerful ingredients to really tackle blood sugar.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. What are some key things our listeners should remember?
You know, I think the biggest takeaway is that blood sugar control, it's about so much more than just preventing diabetes. It's about feeling your best, having sustained energy, and setting yourself up for long-term health.
And we've learned that we have more control than we think. From the food we eat to how we manage stress and even the quality of our sleep, it all plays a role.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Small, sustainable changes over time can lead to big results.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's so empowering to know we have so much control over our health. But let's be real, building healthy habits, it's tough. Any tips to make those changes stick?
Absolutely. Meal prepping, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
When you plan and prep your meals ahead of time, you're setting yourself up for success. It's like having those healthy choices ready, even when things get crazy.
It's like having a personal chef,
Yeah,
but without that price tag.
exactly.
Okay, so meal prepping for the win. What about snacking? I'm a huge snacker, I'll admit it.
Oh, yeah.
And those between meal munchies can sometimes totally derail my healthy eating goals.
Yeah, mindful snacking is key. So instead of reaching for those processed snacks that just send your blood sugar soaring, opt for those nutrient-rich options that give you sustained energy. Think almonds, Greek yogurt, piece of fruit with some nut butter.
That sounds way more satisfying than the bag of chips I usually reach for.
Right.
Okay, so meal prep and mindful snacking. Got it.
Mhm.
Any other advice for building those lasting habits?
Regular check-ins are so important.
Okay.
Take some time each week, reflect on your progress, identify any challenges you're facing, and you might need to adjust your approach as needed. It's about figuring out what works best for you and making those tweaks along the way.
It's like a personal experiment.
Exactly.
Constantly fine-tuning that formula for success. And speaking of experiments, we've talked a lot about the potential benefits of glucose 6. But how does it actually work? What's the science behind those natural ingredients?
Well, we've already talked about the power of chromium in green tea, but let's dive a little deeper into cinnamon. Research actually shows it can mimic the effects of insulin, helping your cells utilize glucose more efficiently.
So cinnamon is like the backup singer for insulin,
Yeah.
stepping in to help out when needed.
Love that. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Now let's talk about sucre, that natural sugar alternative. It comes from a plant called stevia, and unlike regular sugar, it doesn't break down into glucose in the bloodstream.
So it's like a stealth sweetener,
Hmm.
satisfying our taste buds, but without triggering that blood sugar spike.
Precisely. And finally, there's crine tea,
Right.
shown to inhibit an enzyme called alpha-glucosidase.
Okay.
This enzyme actually breaks down carbs into glucose. So by inhibiting it, crine tea can help slow down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream.
So it's like putting a speed bump on the sugar highway,
Yes.
preventing those sudden surges.
Exactly. And you know what's fascinating? All these natural ingredients, when you combine them, can work together, providing like a multifaceted approach to blood sugar control.
It's like they formed a supergroup of blood sugar balancing power.
I love that. But it's important to remember supplements, even natural ones, are just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
They can really complement a healthy lifestyle, but shouldn't replace those foundational habits we talked about.
Right. It's about building that solid foundation with diet, exercise, stress management, and sleep.
Right.
And then if you're looking for extra support, supplements like glucose 6 could be a really valuable tool.
Absolutely. And don't forget, always good to talk to your doctor before adding any new supplements to your routine, especially if you have any underlying health conditions or are taking medications.
Great point. Okay, so we've covered a ton today, from the science behind blood sugar control to those practical strategies for keeping those levels balanced. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the most important message you want our listener to take away?
I think the biggest takeaway is that stable blood sugar, it is achievable. And it's about so much more than just, preventing diabetes. It's about feeling your best, having energy, and optimizing your overall health.
It's about taking control of your well-being, unlocking your full potential.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself, celebrate those small victories, and keep learning. The more you understand about your body and how it responds to different choices, the more empowered you'll be to make those decisions that really support your goals.
I love that. Knowledge is power. Now, before we sign off, are there any resources you'd recommend for our listener who wants to dive even deeper into this?
Absolutely. The American Diabetes Association, that's a great resource.
Okay.
Evidence-based information on blood sugar. Also, some great books out there, like The Blood Sugar Solution by Dr. Mark Hyman and Glucose Revolution by Jesse and Chospy. Really practical tips and strategies.
Awesome. We'll definitely link to those in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've explored the why, the how, and even the wow of blood sugar control.
We did.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, just remember, you're not alone in this. There's so many resources out there ready to support you. And every step you take toward understanding, managing your blood sugar, it's a step towards a healthier you, a more vibrant you.
It's not just about managing a condition. It's about living your life to the fullest. I love that. And speaking of living life to the fullest, let's talk about that what if for a second. Imagine You wake up every morning, you've got energy, feeling fantastic,
Yeah.
ready to take on the day.
Right.
What could you achieve? What would be different?
That's the real power of this, right? It's not just about numbers. It's about, unlocking that potential. Maybe you have more energy to, spend with loved ones, pursue that passion project, or, just be more present in your daily life. It's about making those things happen.
It's like you're finally running on a full battery,
Exactly.
ready to take on the world.
And the best part is, it's totally within your reach.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now. Thanks for taking us on this deep dive into blood sugar control. I know I learned a lot, and I hope our listener feels empowered to really take charge of their health journey.
It's been a pleasure. And, remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Keep learning, stay curious, and never underestimate the incredible power that you have to really shape your own well-being.
We'll be sure to include all those resources we talked about in the show notes, including information on glucose 6. So if you're ready to take that next step, you'll have everything you need.
Until next time, stay well, keep those blood sugar levels steady.
And remember, small changes, they can lead to big results. We'll see you on our next deep dive.